Can you? I'm sorry.
Why?
There's I live like 15 minutes from the airport, and an airplane just like went overhead. It's very loud.
Your noise cancelling is fucking fantastic, Elaine.
Oh, really?
I didn't hear anything at all, whereas you can hear the washing machine. Okay.
Hmm. All right.
Hmm.
Well, welcome to Pitch Perfect. We are a flesh and blood podcast. I'm leaving that in. That aims to educate, empower, and support the female community in flesh and blood. We are your hosts. I am Elaine, and with me here, as always, is Melody. Say hi.
Kia ora.
And this week we're just kind of hanging out. So you guys, we're a little tired and unhinged, and it's just the two of us. And
Be prepared.
yeah, be prepared. But we do have something to talk about, right? Last week we had an episode with Brian Gottlieb, which was fantastic. I enjoyed that discussion so much. I'm sure you did too,
Oh, I
Melody. And I
loved it.
hope that, yeah, it was so great. I hope that you guys, the listeners, also enjoyed it. And we talked about outsiders. And then this past weekend, I think we both played in at least one Outsiders pre release. Did you play in more
Yeah.
than one, Melody?
I played in two.
Two. Okay.
Yeah.
I played in three. So
How did
we're
you
gonna
manage that? Was that over like two in one day or?
yeah, yeah. So I played in one on Friday night, and
Mm.
then there was one at 1 p.m. on Saturday and one at 7 p.m. on Saturday. So we all went played in
Wow.
one, and then we like went to eat, and then we went to the next one. It's like
That
it
is
was awesome.
awesome.
Just got to play Outsiders all day. Um, but yeah, so let's talk about it. Thoughts,
Hmm.
experiences. Tell me about your first one.
Um, like I guess I've never played a pre-release sealed.
Have
Um,
you never really?
so the first sealed that I ever played was, yeah, it was at the Calling in New Zealand last month.
Shapeshifter
What?
Shield?
No, Welcome to Wraith Sealed, the one where I beat
Okay.
James.
Oh, first time playing Seal, then you beat James White bit. I didn't realize I was talking
Yes.
to a Seal master over here.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, I really love Limited. And then, so pre-release was pretty exciting. And, we'd seen some of the cards. Obviously, we had our card, Amnesia, and I tried not to check out the cards too much. Like, I read the fab articles. I think Kashan wrote something about, if you want to play this hero, this is what to look out for. I was like, okay, cool. And I decided I had really good cards for Benji. I think I had like
Mm.
11 or 12, 2 damage cards, and I had really good cards for Ranger as well. And I pulled a cold foil quiver, the legendary. Is
Okay.
it the legendary quiver or the? Yeah,
Um,
yes, yes. But I didn't go Ranger. I was like, I wouldn't really want to play Azuri. So I forced Azuri.
you're not supposed
It,
to force and
I know,
sealed. You're
but I,
supposed to play what you pull. But
but
it's
I
okay. It's
see.
okay. Bec-
So I was, Ranger just really confuses me. So it's on my list, for the next couple of months to learn how to play Ranger. Well, because yeah,
It's
I
a
like dragons.
I have a
I know that's the
confession.
first hero you played, right? Was
Yeah, and I
Azalea.
hated it, and I've hated Ranger ever since. Hate is a strong word.
It is.
I don't hate. I
It's not your
dis
jam.
It's not my jam. I disliked it. I respect Ranger players. I have no beef with them. I don't know. They might have beef with me. Who knows? But no. I all weekend, I had a friend and he just kept saying, "Oh, I'm gonna force so and so. I'm gonna force so and so." And I was like, "Dude, it's sealed. Don't force. Play what you open. Play what you open. Like it's not draft. No need to force here. You just play to your pool." Um, and then at the last pre-release of the weekend, the Saturday at 7, I totally had a Ranger pool. Like it was like I didn't have like a legendary or anything like that, but I had like twice as many playable Ranger cards, which was just
Yeah.
crazy. And twice is probably an exaggeration, but way more like good playable Ranger cards. And I was like, it's the last one of the weekend. I'm gonna force Azuri, and this deck is just gonna be legal at best. Like, so I can't judge you. I did it, and I was a hypocrite. So it's okay. It's
So,
okay.
I feel a little bit better, but I really wanted to because I wanted to try something new. But we to start with, like the first game, everyone's just like looking at their cards, like what are we doing? How does this work? And we barely finished on time because we just like I have no fucking idea. Excuse my language. And I'm like with Ranger, it would have been twice as bad for me.
Mm, mm.
Which like we plan on playing. Well, I plan on playing loads more like limited draft sealed because this set is incredible. So
Yeah,
anyway, yeah, Zuri, she is so much fun. Oh my gosh, the sneakiness, the element of surprise is what I really like. I mean, just you know, from the sealed pool, the design around the equipment and the heroes, the pool of cards is just chef's kiss. I think for a limited format, like everything is so balanced, and you're. I think only one person on our first day only got three pieces of equipment. Like the rest of us had like full set.
I had not only full set, I had equipment choices
Yes,
every single time where it was
yes,
like I'm having to make decisions for equipment, maybe bring something in like against someone else, like bring in, change out equipment according to what I'm playing against. So it was like not only am I having a full set, I have like actual choices and
yep.
equipment sideboard. Um which was not my experience in other sealed events. So that was really cool. So did you play Azuri at you played Azuri at both,
I
right?
played Azuri at both. So the first pre-release, I went to, I drew one. Not blaming you, Hamish, for taking 5 minutes per turn, King of Takebacks.
Whoa,
Oh yeah,
whoa!
I'm calling him King of Takebacks because he plays cards and he pulls them back, and I'm like, okay, no, that's cool. It's pre-release. It's fine. And
It is
then
a
the
pre-release. We're learning these cards.
we're learning, so Melody just settled down. And then on the Sunday, I so what happened was I went Azuru, but this time I had a good pull for three heroes. The first one, the second one was kind of more either Arachne. Love the fact that you get to go again, or Azuri. So I went Azuri again. Won my first three matches. What I noticed this time round was the potential to fatigue people. I felt a bit like Oldham.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it wasn't intentional. It's just how it played. Like I think the first game, he ended up with no cards in deck, and I had two left. The second, we both had none, I think, and the third was a little bit better. And then the fourth, we actually drew. And for some reason, I managed to win. I don't know how that works with Gem, but um, and that was an interesting game. And because we were learning about the cards and what they did, there was a code. I think it was a Codex of Frailty,
Mm.
and my understanding of the card was that the it didn't matter if you had a card in Arsenal or not, you or your opponent, all the effects of the card still came into play. So I would create a Ponder token and he would get a Frailty token. And he's like, no, 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 that's not how it works. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter if those conditions are or not met. And it didn't matter. But I was like, cool, you know what? We don't have judge here. So that was an interesting thing, I think, to learn because a few people thought, oh, no, no, you've got to make sure that you both don't have cards in Arsenal. So, but anyway, so yeah, it was. I just, I really enjoyed it, and I really liked um, using daggers, like you're a Kasai main. Kasai was
Mm-hmm.
besides Viz was my second Blitz hero, so I like using, just like the little stabs. But um, the listener question that came from my LGS from Anthony, who said, "Oh, Michael Hamilton, was asking about the daggers being two costs for one, basically being shit. Like it's not the value that you get
Yeah.
from that from defense is just amazing. What do you reckon?"
In my experience with the daggers, I was like, okay, well, first of all, so I said I had played three pre-releases. Friday night, I was just kind of like, I had a long work week, just a long week in general. I really hadn't done like any prep for a pre-release, and so I was just kind of like went into it, opened my packs. I was like read, looked at my pool. I was like, okay, I have, I could play ninja, or I didn't really have a ranger pool because I pulled like my equipment leaned more ranger. I mean, more assassin and ninja. So I was like, okay, I can play ninja or I can play assassin. I kind of want to try something new, not ninja. No offense to the ninjas, they're still really fun, but I've seen them before. I've played with them before,
Mhm.
so I was like, I kind of want to try something new. I read Azuri, I read Arachne, and I was just kind of like, all right, Arachne, like this text right on solitary confinement Arachne is very simple, straightforward.
Yes,
I'm gonna play that.
I love it.
So I played the Arachne on Friday night, and after like the first game you play, and you're just kind of like, all right, like I'm getting the hang of this, learning a few
Yep.
lines here, learning what's good. And I was just kind of like, I have the blue, so sure, I'll throw the dagger, and so Arachne, your first stealth gets going, and this is just, please don't judge me. I'm not a pro. I never claimed to be one. Um,
Oh
but
god.
so
What
it was
did you
like
do?
I would always end my lines with the little dagger just because it was like
What?
throw the blue in front of it, right? I don't know. And then I was like, wait. And then when I sat down, like that was my first game was against a ninja, and I won. And then my second game was against a it was like an arachne mirror, I believe. And playing against the spider bite, like they yeah, I think they hit me, like they attacked me with the spider bite, and I was just kind of like take one, and then they attacked me with whatever death touch or something, and I was like, wait a minute, what the heck? Like now I have to throw three cards in front of this? Like what? And so I started playing a lot better after that, right? Throw the dagger
I'm
in first.
very glad to
And it
hear
was
that.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, please don't judge me. I had a long week.
Did you have many blues?
Yeah, yeah. I think I had 12 blues in my deck, which is
That's good.
plenty.
Yep.
Mhm. Um, and I pretty much had I think the I drafted I mean, I went with Azuri. So that was the first night, right? And I started along with the daggers. I was like, okay, this feels I didn't appreciate the value of the dagger until I played against
Mm.
it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like playing it, I was just still kind of like two resources for one at the end of my turn. That sucks. And then playing against it, I was like, that is annoying. And like now I see the full value and potential of just like being annoying.
Mm.
Because you don't know what I have coming next, right? And especially with Azuri, where you really don't know what I would have coming next, because what I'm
No.
presenting is not, and it's likely not what is coming next, right? Um, and so then I went, it was 4 rounds that Friday night, all of them were 4 rounds. And I went 2-2 that Friday night. And then Saturday at the 1 o'clock, I was like, I told Brian I would try Azuri. I'm more awake today. Got to
I've had a
see the
sleep.
cards. Right. I've had sleep. I've had my coffee. I got to see the cards yesterday, play with them a little.
Mhm.
Let's tackle something bigger. Let's go Azuri. Um, and so I did do Azuri at that 1 p.m. And like the first game, uh, I was just like kind of figuring her out. And I was like, well, yeah, okay, I like this. This is fun. This feels like warrior. You come in with that spider bite, and then you come in with something else, and it's like, how you block against that spider
Ta-da!
bite matters a lot because you don't know
Surprise!
how big this second attack is going to be. So that was like really cool, really fun. And I just got better and better and better at her throughout the day. Actually, that was 4 rounds. and I won my first 3 games and I lost in the finals. So the finals, sure, for the whatever thing.
And
So
what
I
was
went.
that? So tell me, take us through that last game, the one that you lost. So you had a pretty good run. What happened in the fourth game? Who was the hero you were playing?
Um, they were on. Oh gosh, it was my friend Alex, and I can't remember what he played. If it was Azuri, I want to say he also played Azuri, or it was either Azuri or Benji. I can't remember because
Oh, okay.
I know I played both.
You played a lot of
But
games.
do you want me to be completely honest about what happened that last game?
Yes,
Um,
they were
he
amazing, and you just what?
no. What happened was he was like, "Hey," before the game started, he was like, "Hey, um, I like he asked me, he was like, "Do you just want to?" Because they had like extra that they were giving away the mat and the cold foil Azuri to first place, and then they were also giving away like 12 packs of Everfest, and so it was like pretty like a lot of stuff. And so he
For
was like,
first
"You just,"
place.
yeah, he was like, "You just want to
Huh.
split first place. Like we can split packs 6 and 6, and then one of us can take the cold foil, one of us can take the mat." And I was like,
You don't need the mat.
yeah, I was like, well, he wanted the cold foil, and I actually won the cold foil on Friday night for like they did it as
Oh,
like a
door prize.
raffle prize. Yeah, so I already had the mat and the cold foil Azuri, and I was like, six, like some, like I was like, you can have both. He didn't accept taking both the prizes, but I tried. Um, but then I was like, yeah, that's fine with me. Like, I'm totally down to prize split. So I was like, I'm just gonna I kind of just had fun with it, with the game, right? I was just kind of like, I'm gonna just play out these lines that are a little bit more risky, see how it feels, take extra damage where I probably wouldn't have taken damage. Um, and I don't mean to sound like conceited in that. Alex is a really good player, and we had a very fun game. But it was just kind of like since we had already decided to price split, we both just had those moments of where it's like, I was like, "Hey, can I stay alive for another turn just so I can play out this hand?" Like, type of deal, and, like, he would do the same thing, like, "Don't come in with anything too heavy because I don't wanna block, I wanna play out this hand." It's like, "Okay." Where you're just kinda, like, having fun with it and having a lot of back
Mm.
and forth, which, was really enjoyable. So, that was the day 2 where, or the second pre-release that I played in with Azuri, went 3-1. And then the next night, I mean, that night still, it was the same day, was when I opened the um, Ranger pool, and I was like, I already have 2 mats.
Mm.
I've already gotten 6 packs of Everfest. I already have the cold for foil Azuri. I'm just gonna make a legal Azuri deck, and I went 2-2, I believe, at that one too, just like the first night. Um, and I kind of played a little bit. I kind of tried to focus a little bit more on pitch stacking because I feel like Azuri can set up a second cycle really effectively with her ability.
What is that? I can hear that.
That's my cat.
Oh,
And so I kind of like played around with that idea a little bit more and just paid attention to that. And it was fun though. I'm kind of obsessed with Azuri. I'm a big warrior player.
yes.
Like I'm gonna try and tomorrow night. I was gonna build her for my armory tomorrow, but we've decided we're gonna draft up outsiders tomorrow.
Cool.
So I'm very excited about that. But yeah, it was fun. It was great. I had a question
Mm.
because um you pulled a legendary, but I didn't pull any legendaries a weekend. I think I did pull 2 cold foils or 1 cold foil, but just kind of like the generic equipment, nothing super fancy, but still very exciting and cool to open.
Mm.
Um but on that Friday night, 3 legendaries were open. The Saturday at 1 p.m., we only had 1 legendary open. Then that Saturday night, the 3rd one, we had another 3 legendaries open. And it's
Yes.
like, that is really crazy to me. Like, I feel like
We were discussing whether or not they were seeded. I don't, LSS, we don't know, but I think at our first one, I pulled one. I think we might have pulled three, and then we had prize packs. I think the second one, we pulled one. We might have pulled a couple, and the fabled. Or did we get a fabled at each
Oh,
one?
you got a
We,
fabled. We
yeah,
didn't get we didn't get any fableds, but
a rainbow foil one, but who cares? It was, yeah, like everyone was just like, this is insane. And so now that we're getting into,
I wanna say there was a cold foil legendary pool too.
so
Let's see.
it's Friday here in New Zealand for those that are watching. And if I look a little bit tired, it's because we had our Outsiders pre release at midnight. So now that we're talking about pools, so I think a lot of people watch some of, like, I think Fluke and Blocks, and a few other content creators crack boxes, right? And there was talk that Amnesia, our card, was short printed potentially. I know that he pulled, or he broke,
I
how many?
pulled it.
So we pulled lots of it.
Of Amnesia?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we
I pulled it.
cracked 41 boxes. We got 5 Marvels. I got one. Everybody got one. And a cold foil Fable last night or this morning. I'm
You
not
got
even
5
joking.
marbles?
We got 5. So everybody else got the Codex of Frailty. And so I had two cases. Most people had 2 cases. I I was very sad because I got down to my last box, last pack. And I'm like, everyone else has a Marvel and I don't have one. And I got the Blood Rot. So I was the odd one out because everybody else got frailties. And it was freaking insane. There was a lot of screaming and jumping around. And we've got a video. I put a video up and lots of photos. And then this morning, so just before I came on here, I was on Fab Unsealed because I'm obsessed with Outsiders. I bought a rainbow foil German heart, and with that came a box of Outsiders. So I bought 2 boxes of Outsiders, bought this heart, and they pulled me a cold foil Fabled. So I'm buzzing, a little bit tired, but I've got a whole heap of amazing cards. And I saw on our buy and sell page in New Zealand, like there's people selling 2 Marvels from one person. Like I don't know if I know that at our LGS we got the hits, we
Yeah, we
got
haven't
spies.
pulled no one pulled any marbles during pre-release weekend, but I'm excited to see how the box we draft looks tomorrow. And I'm sure people will be, buying it and opening it, and I'm just excited to see everyone's pulls. It'll be fun. It'll be exciting. I
Well,
love cracking packs.
love cracking packs, and I just outsiders. I don't have anything to compare to, right? Like everyone's like, "Welcome to Wraith was amazing to draft and limited." I played it once and it was awesome, but I just feel that this set to in a limited format is just so cohesive.
Mm,
You know,
mm.
um, yeah, I hope that we draft. If I've got anything to do with it, I want to draft every single week. Become pros for skirmish and rotinets.
Yeah, I'm very excited to draft it tomorrow. I I enjoyed the sealed. I did hear like a lot of grumpy kind of complaints about sealed,
Oh,
like people not really like just enjoying sealed, and I think it's just more on a
individual
critique.
preference.
Yeah, well, and critique on just like sealed in general, not necessarily outsiders or fab, where they
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
would prefer to draft it or play it constructed, which I think is a totally valid like thing to think. And I still had a lot of fun playing it this weekend and just kind of like getting to experience playing with the cards, but I didn't. It just kind of made me, if anything, excited to play it in other formats and try it out, like play Outsiders draft and build a constructed Azuri deck. Yeah, I had a I meant to
Mm.
say this earlier and it slipped my mind, and now I'm just
Mm.
remembering it when you were talking about Amnesia possibly being short printed, which I hadn't heard anything about. But and you said you guys pulled heaps. I pulled one. Did you get any mess? I got like some like messages on Twitter and like just DMs and
Oh,
stuff of
yes,
people
your
being like,
card. We
"I
pulled your
pulled your
card.
card." Like
Yes.
someone, I got hit with your card. Like I don't know. I
Yes.
was like, "Ah, I love that. It's so
We had that
fun."
at pre-release. Somebody had out, "We pulled your card. We pulled Amnesia." And I'm like, "Let's go. Pitch perfect."
Woo,
Yeah,
yeah. Right.
it's been an incredible weekend. I don't want it to end. I do need some sleep, but I just want to play, play, play. I don't know whether I'm gonna build a blitz deck though for it. Like, oh yeah, I think I will, but I think I'd rather play Azurian Constructed. I don't know, and maybe Riptide. I played a Riptide on Talishar and just got they lifed themselves up twice. They ended up 22 life, and I was on Azurion 0, and I'm like, okay, clearly I've not built a great deck, but they just killed it. It was just their trap, 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 damage, 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 dead.
I had PTSD. Yeah, I didn't play against. Actually, I didn't play against a single Riptide pre-release weekend, but like after reveal weekend, someone proxied like a Riptide deck and brought it to our armory, and I was just kind of like, it was my first game, and I was like dead, and it yeah, it was just wild and it hurt, and I did not. I was like, this is crazy. But I think there's been maybe some clarification on how Riptide works since then.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not
Whoops.
sure. Well, I don't know.
Because if they play trap, it's
Right.
instant one damage.
Yeah.
And
I
it
have no
used to be from
clue.
Arsenal, but it's not anymore. They changed it. That's my understanding. But I mean,
And I
versus.
think like the effects of the trap have to happen for it to be considered like a triggered trap, not just like the trap
Really?
can't be played. I think.
Okay, I'm definitely going to check that because that's Teleshan does not run like
I say
that.
I don't think
And
Talishar has it right. I think
mm,
I heard, and here's the thing: I didn't like hear this on an LSS announcement or anything. I think I just heard it around a Discord somewhere that they were like, "No, the effect of the trap has to happen, and then the trap is considered
oh,
triggered." Because like when I played against it, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I don't really get tilted from, you know, I don't.
anything.
Yeah, like don't take me as perfect. I do get tilted during
Mm.
games and tournaments, but just kind of like at an armory, I don't really get tilted, and I don't get tilted from playing against specific heroes. But when I played against Riptide for the first time with that proxy deck, I was pretty tilted. I was on Briar, and when I died, Riptide was still at like 28 life. And I was like, this is kind of ridiculous, like, because he starts at less life. And when you're
Whoa.
dealing, when I was on Briar, so it was like when my chain links, what I can like they have a card in Arsenal and it's just a bunch of D reacts and they can play like 4 to 5 D reacts on me a turn
And
that are
give you
like
blood
traps,
rots and
right, and give
frailties
me
and
blood rots and then this unblockable, like if you're coming in with 5 unblockable damage on my turn, like
mm.
that chips away fast. And it's and so I was just kind of like, I was like a little annoyed. I was like, "This is toxic. I'm done." Like, no, I do not enjoy this. And then I think there was some clarification. I haven't played against Riptide since, but I'm willing to take back my initial reaction to him. I didn't face any at pre-release, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. I feel like I don't know. There was multiple times during that game where they would be like, "Oh, take 1 damage. This effect happens," and I was like, "I don't."
What?
Yeah, I was just kind of like, "I don't." I was like, I was like, "I don't believe you." Like, so I kept like googling the actual cards, and they were like, "You don't believe me?" And I'm like, "It's not you that I don't believe. I just feel like this is insane. Like, what?" Um. Anyway, so we'll see. I'm
I
not making any meta calls though.
no, and I think where he's going to struggle, well, in Blitz anyway, is against Icelander.
And
And I
Dromai.
think, yeah, Wizards, Jeremiah, like, what are you going to do with your D reacts against Wizards? You're not going to do shit. You're going to die.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I don't know. I just think that's going to be a struggle. And yeah, Jeremiah, I've played on Talishar against the new heroes and just being like, oh yeah, that's. I guess people are still getting used to it, right? Like, still getting used to the heroes and understanding them. So I am quite keen to play Riptide though. Like, I like the idea of traps. I think that's kind of cool. But Azuri is going to be my go-to. She's so
I
much fun.
love Azuri. I do plan on like learning and familiarizing myself with Azalea and giving
Oh,
her a shot. I think that she
oh,
could be really, really good now. However, if I still do not enjoy it, I am just going to play Azuri, who I know that I already love. She is so fun. I think she can set up a second cycle really
I
effectively.
agree.
The spider bite is so tempting to take because it's just one damage, but then when if you're gonna block like my little one blue attack with stealth with one card, then suddenly it's a command and conquer. What are you gonna do? What are you
Mm.
gonna do?
And
Anyway,
then
it's
then I get to pitch stack this beautiful blue for later on when I come in with more daggers. Yep,
mm-hmm.
eternal daggers.
It was she was really, really fun. I
Yep.
really, really loved her, and I want to play I wanna build, like, an actual deck with her just so I can feel her true potential.
Mm.
Um, and there was just some I don't know, I feel like I can't think of anything specifically, but, like, I like with any deck, you can just feel yourself get like progressively better with every game, right? When you're just kind of
Yes.
like figuring out how this really works and figuring out new lines. Like, oh my gosh, it was so fun to do that with her though. 'Cause it was just kind of like, this is cool. This is really cool. I sat down at one of my pre-releases. I think it was the morning one on Saturday, and I played against a guy and I don't know, it could have been one of the Saturday ones because I was on Azuri, and the first time I, like, did her little thing, did her little ability, he was just like, "That's how she works?" And I was like, "Yeah," and he was like, "There was so many words, I just couldn't comprehend it," but he was like, "That is cool, that looks fun." Uh, he was also on Azuri, but I he had kinda built his deck to try and go wide rather than tall.
Oh,
And
okay.
I was like, "Nah," yeah,
No.
but he was like, "What?" Like, he was like, "I guess I just didn't really realize how she worked. This is so cool." And I was like, "Yeah, go tall." Like, it was such a we were both just kinda like, "Isn't that the coolest thing you've ever seen?" Like,
You're both buzzing out.
yeah, we were both like, "Ah, this is so cool."
And what I reckon with her as well, is even in sealed, like I never, ever, ever had a brick hand, ever. Like
Yeah.
I had, I think a couple of traps, D-Rex, loads of generics. I had, what is it? Not Wipeout, the one that prevents damage. I can't remember the name. I can see the card. But always, whether I was going to play a stealth attack or swing a couple times, like that's what I also loved about it.
Yeah, I also felt that I didn't really have any, um dead hands because I
Mm.
also don't know like I my decks were very close to full attack, right? Full attack decks. I also did not go light on the blues. I think I played 3 pre-releases and I had 12 blues and 10 blues. Like, you know,
Mm.
my deck was it had plenty of blues. Um
Were they assassin blues or were they a mix of
Mainly
generic and
assassin. The
wow.
generics maybe like 3
Okay.
generics to get
I was
just to get
trying to
me
get
where
blues in mine because I
really?
knew I needed them for the daggers. So I think I had first day 10, second 11, and I had to put generics in there. But that's okay. But I was like, no,
Yeah, I was
need
like
these.
throw in all of my throw in all my stealth attacks,
Yes.
and then I would throw in all my red cost just big attacks in the deck, that I had, like generics, assassin, whatever it may
Yep.
be, the big ones. Throw them in there, and then get myself to enough blues, and fill in the rest in with the best like yellows or whatever reds were left over from the assassin category. And it was like that's how it went. That was the process. I think it worked out pretty well, and it was a lot of
Mm.
fun. So,
And even
um,
like Pox Malone, right? Like hiding that guy in your hand and switching it out. Here you go. Here's a blood rot. That card is so
Fox
disgusting.
Malone, are you talking
Yep.
about
Yes. Virulent
virulent touch?
touch. Yeah.
Pox
Pox Malone.
Malone. I like that. I knew exactly what you were talking about, though. Were there any cards to you that like kind of stood like for me? One card that I really was like every time I pull this, I'm putting it in my deck. I love it. Where like feisty locals, I think is the name of
Oh
it.
yes, feisty locals.
That
That's
was
zero
fun.
for four.
Uh,
What was he on hit?
It's I think it's like 2, and if you block, it gets +3 or
Yeah, it's plus two
or
or
some
three. Yeah,
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 it's like
yeah.
maybe it's base 3 gets +2. It's something like I probably have it right here in my bag.
I liked. Is it called humility? It's 2 for 6, and if it hits, it cuts off. It's like it cuts off all the hero's ability. I
Also,
like it in
these
limited.
cold foil tokens were
Yes.
just a really cool prize. I like that they did that. Shout out LSS. Oh, looking for a scrap I also really enjoyed.
What's that
Um
one?
that is the one, and let me tell you how I played it because oh, Humble was a good card.
Yeah,
Is
I
that the
did
one you were
like
talking
humble.
about?
Yeah,
Um, I liked Spring Load. That was a good one to play for
spring
Azuri.
load was
That was a
great.
good Azuri card.
That's a good
Feist
ender.
Yeah, Feisty Locals is 0 for 3 and it gets +2. So with my scraps, looking for a scrap, where is it? Here we go. Um
Banish one.
yeah. So it's
Yes.
the you banish a card with 1 power from your graveyard. When you do this, gains +1 and go again.
Yep.
So the looking for scrap red comes in for 4, but with the +1 comes in for 5, go again.
I had one
I
of those. Mm.
comboed. I was pretty proud of this, but it's probably nothing to be proud of. But the card Hurl, um,
Oh yeah.
Hurl, the
Pay
0 cost
one.
one, where you pay 1 to throw away your dagger to
Yep.
deal 1 damage to target hero.
Hmm.
So one of like the turns that one of my kill turns, I for some reason the game didn't go on that long, I guess, because I didn't have any 1 attacks in my graveyard yet. So I did Hurl and destroyed my dagger, and then banished my dagger on looking for a scrap to deal the 1 damage. Anyway,
I
I
love
was
it.
like I don't know. I had like a one of those moments where I was like, I feel so big brain right now.
Thank you for
Anyway,
sharing that with
'cause
me
I
and
had to
everyone
get
that's
off, like,
listening.
I needed, like, just to push damage to get cards out of his hand, and one thing with Azuri is, even in s or I guess especially in sealed, you don't have a lot of go again, right? You like we said, we're not going wide, we're going tall, but it was, like, one of those turns where I was like, "I kinda need to go wide here to really put on pressure, get cards out their hand, and, like, do this." So I did like the hurl into looking for a scrap into an Azuri attack. Because I think I had the stealth attack in arsenal. So then with my last card in hand, could come in with like an Azuri attack to win the game. But it was just kind of like I was like, man, I was like looking through my graveyard and I was like, I don't have any one of cost, like 1 cost attacks. How am I gonna do this? And then I read hurl and I was like, uh, well, I read looking for a scrap and it says banish a card with base 1 attack. And I was like, does that mean I could hurl into looking for a scrap and banish my dagger? So I called a judge over. Not We didn't have a judge at the event, but one of the locals who was
Mm.
playing, who had finished his game, was is a judge, Jim Van Fleet. And I was like, "Hey Jim, is this right?" I was like, I showed him looking for a scrap, and I was like, "Is that?" And like the dagger, I was like, "Is that mine?" And he was like, "Hmm, yeah, I think so. That does that checks out. That is how that works." And I was like, "All right, let's do it." Anyway, it was fun. It was a fun little line to play in Missouri that went wider than all my other lines. So I
Mm.
was like, wow, I feel I feel sneaky right now, you know?
Sneak attack. Sneak
Yeah,
attack is absolutely fantastic.
sneak
I
attack.
had reds of those and just coming in for 7. Thank you. Here you go. Bye.
Mhm.
7. Or even an attack. I was looking, so it's it's any reaction, right? For that to kick off? If you've played any,
Let's see. Sneak attack.
because it works for Black Tech Whisperers as well. Works with that. Not that we had that in draft. I mean, sorry, sealed.
Sneak attack. If you've played or activated an attack reaction, this chain
Mm,
link sneak attack has plus 4.
mm.
I did not even make this connection until we're sitting here right now, Melody.
Oh,
You're
Elaine!
so like, whoa.
Yes, yes, yes,
Wow.
yes.
All right, well, I'm keeping that in mind when we draft tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. That card was amazing. Totally recommend it.
Yeah, that is wow, 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 wow. Ooh,
And
we
there's
both taught each other something new just
yes,
now.
and the
Isn't that
what I really liked with the equipment, and I can't remember what there was an equipment that if you've played an attack action that's one or less, you pay and it gets go again. Like the equipment is so
oh, the little
powerful.
it's Fleetfoot sandals, that's what it is.
Yeah, like that.
Um
I use all of my equipment pretty much every game.
I thought that this equipment sucked until it won me a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "That's dumb. Base 1 or less can go again," and then I
Azuri's got all the
got that little
ones.
extra point of damage on Azuri. Yeah, I was like, "Oh,
Mm,
this." Yeah.
mm.
Mm. I, I really liked my equipment sweep every time. Also, both there was twice when I had, like, both the assassin masks, and I was like, "This is crazy." Like, I don't know, I felt like the equipment pools were really good. I didn't
Yep.
see very many people who weren't able to play a full equipment sweep. Um, there were, like, some, but mainly it was just kind of like, "Oh, I, um" what I lost my train. Oh, like they didn't play a full equipment sweep because they didn't pull like for their class a full equipment sweep. But being the dual classes, I think is what really helped the equipment sweeps. Like pretty much everyone have a full equipment sweep, right? Because you can just like, oh, I can use this in assassin or ninja, right?
Mm.
Whereas beforehand, it's like you rarely got a full equipment sweep because it was just for assassin or just for ninja. Toxic tips. I liked this with
I wanted to pull it. I didn't get it.
I think I pulled 2 and I played
Oh.
it with it's just a common melody, you'll get it.
I know, but I wanted it in sealed.
You didn't get it
No.
this with
I got fisticuffs, I think, which is pay 2 to give your weapon attacks +1.
there was a few times where I paid into toxic tips to get the extra card out of my hand to um do the
Cycle.
spring one.
Ah, yes, good. Good thinking.
Yeah, because and uh I liked I liked that. Plus it was just kind of like this for one resource to get the card out of my hand to play the spring thing, and most of the time they're not fully blocking the springy thingy. I can't remember
Springy thingy.
springy that springy thingy card. And so then I just get to give them like whatever token I want to. How are the tokens for you?
Inertia, frailty, and blood rot.
Yeah, any of that.
Oh,
Okay, I kept calling
oh
the very
no.
first game I played on Friday night. I was like, oh, I sat down in front of my opponent and he's like, okay, I have this token, this token, this token. Like, I feel like I'm missing one. And I was like, you're missing the fertility token. And he was like,
Oh my
Elaine,
god,
that is
Elaine!
not what that says. And I
Oh
was like,
my god! Are you hoping to get pregnant? What my
I was
god.
like, what? And then
The fertility.
he was like, it's like, that does not say fertility.
It's
And
got
I
an
was like,
old haggard woman on it.
"Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was like, what?" And he was like, "That it says
Fertility
frailty."
token.
Anyway, this whole time I've been saying, like, since, like, the thing until pre-release, since the reveals until pre-release, I've been saying fertility token, and I don't even know why, like, I think I just saw the word and I was like, "Bam, fertility token." And, anyway, so there was kind of a running joke all
Elaine,
weekend.
you bring shame upon your
She
family name.
doesn't she doesn't look very fertile either, she
No,
looks
she does not.
really in bad shape.
No, no. I
So
love
embarrassed, I was like,
them.
"I'm so stupid." Like, and I wasn't even
I'm not
thinking
gonna say
about,
anything.
like
I'm not saying
I
anything.
wasn't thinking about I don't know, like, in my mind, I was just kinda like, "Fertility token," not like and I read the card, I'm like, "Alright, makes sense." Uh, and
What?
I wasn't, like, associating the meaning of fertility with the word fertility, I think. I don't know. But yeah, so then I've been every time we
You heard it here
play, I'm
first,
like,
everyone.
"Here's a like, hit you, I'm gonna give you,
I think I'm gonna
a
call it a
frailty token."
fertility.
But it was like a joke, and so then when I would give them away, my opponents were always like, "Thank you, I feel very fertile now."
You're a dork, Elaine. You are a dork. She's
Anyway, that's my
embarrassing.
embarrassing story
Yeah,
from the week.
I don't have any. Like, I love the tokens. And what I found was I think it was probably towards the end of maybe the third and fourth game of the first pre-release, that, depending on who you're playing, I was kind of like, right, I've got the opportunity to give them these types of tokens with these play lines. And so I was getting
Mhm.
more strategic as I learnt more, and I was like, okay, cool. Or I could layer this up. If this hits, I can do this. And like, based on, they've got a full hand, they don't want to block, cool. I'm going to give them inertia. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of power on that, especially for sideboarding and constructed. You'll be able to sideboard in and out. But just having the choice, I think, with the stealth cards and the reactions and the generics that give tokens, it's insane. I gave out a lot of tokens.
Yeah, I think that was, I agree, like, the thing about the tokens, I guess I wasn't expecting it to be I was expecting to have, like, one clear favorite token to give out, I think, and I gave them all out equally, right? It was very conditional, very strategic, which obviously makes a lot of sense. I should have seen that coming, but I thought, like, I don't know, I guess going into it, I was just kinda like, "Well, there's, like, a million tokens." There's not really, there's 4 tokens. There's only 3 that you would wanna give away, right? You don't wanna
Mm.
give away a ponder token, but, yeah, I was just kind of, excited to see how effective each of the tokens were, and it was just kinda like, "Okay, there's no, like, clear winner for the tokens to me. They're each annoying in their own way."
Yes, they are. Oh, welcome. Hi, kitty. All right, so it's release for you today, tonight. Are you cracking any packs? What are you doing?
No, is it released today? Oh, well, tomorrow's Friday. I'm drafting.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. Yes,
We're
it
not.
is.
We
Yeah.
don't have a fancy
Oh,
midnight release.
oh, okay. Oh, I keep forgetting. Okay, so that. Okay, right. Are you going to be cracking tomorrow? Did you get any
I
boxes?
don't know. I did not. They. I don't think they ever released like pre, or if I they did, I missed it. I do want to buy a
What?
box if they have tomorrow. I don't think they, because usually they text like in our Discord. I never saw the text. If I did, I missed it.
Oh,
But I know we asked if we could draft. Obviously, we're gonna draft tomorrow.
cool.
I think I have some store credit at this place I'm gonna use for a box because I've been saving it for a box of Outsiders.
And it's going to have the spice. It's going to have the spice in there.
I hope it. I hope, actually, it doesn't even. It doesn't even need to have the spice for me to enjoy opening the packs. I just love cracking packs. I'm a fiend for. I think that anyone who's been around me when I crack packs knows that.
Is your kitty all right?
Yeah, he's just.
Oh, I thought you were going to put him over your shoulder. You can see the
He's
little eyes from your
maintaining.
other kitty cat, like, hey,
Yeah, but then this is Kitty Cat back. I
yeah,
think he's been there like the whole episode,
he
and this
has.
one's up here.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So, all in
Oh
all,
my goodness.
out of stars for me, I think Outsiders is probably 7 out of 10.
Oh, I was. You said stars, and so I was thinking 5 stars is like,
And then I said
usually a
7, and
star
you're like,
scale
what?
is 1 to 5, and you said
Oh,
7. I was like, Melody, I don't think that's legal answer, but
I think it's
out of
got
10.
different stars for different formats, different things. I don't know. I think overall, yeah, design, art, the art's incredible and
um,
disgusting, but yeah, I think it's 7 or
seven
7.5.
out of 10. I don't. I feel like it's not fair to rate it without playing it, constructing
Okay,
it, or drafting it.
okay, okay. I take that back. If Brian's watching this, I take it back. I'm sorry. Oh wait,
And
because if he's
Brian, if you're
watching, you're like,
watching this,
what?
um,
7?
I take it back.
No. Yeah, I take it back. I take it
You
back.
went from
Cut that out, Elaine.
7 stars out of 5 stars to 7 out of 10 to you take it
No.
back in a matter of like 30 seconds.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I think I enjoyed the sealed pre-release format
Yes.
other more than others from what I've heard, which is totally fine. I'm a very happy person. I rarely have complaints. Uh, that's not true. I complain a lot, but just in this sort of stuff, like I just want to be there and play, right?
Mm,
It's not even about the cards that I'm playing. It's more about just like being there and the excitement and playing. I will say that Friday night I left the pre-release feeling a little just kind of like, I don't want to, disappointed isn't the right word. But just kind of like, oh, that wasn't like as much as I like, that wasn't as fun as I wanted it to be. And I will also say that I don't think that was Outsiders' fault by any means. First of all, we showed up to the store, and the store like immediately apologized to us as Flesh and Blood players because they had a Digimon like pre-release that they scheduled the same day that they didn't think anyone was going to show up to, and they had like 50 people show up, and so there was like no room. The store was like packed.
oh,
People were standing. Some of like they allotted tables for us and put like Flesh and Blood mats on them because they knew, like, they felt bad. But it was just kind of like the vibes in the store. There was just like a lot of people. I'm someone who gets overstimulated pretty easily. It was really
mm,
loud. We could barely hear. It was also raining outside, and I was like, man, I just want to like I want to be in a room with only like flesh and blood players, cracking packs, maybe a fireplace going, a tin
Oh,
roof with
Elaine.
rain coming down, like I it's a
In an
Friday night,
ideal
it's been a
world, yeah.
long week,
Mm.
I'm underprepared. I would like this to just be like a groovy, like we're opening packs, there's rain on the roof, there's a nice like crackles from the, chestnuts roasting on an open
Mhm.
fire type of grill. Like we are a happy fab family, and it was just the complete opposite of that. Not that we weren't a happy fab family, but just
Mm.
that there was like a million people in this room. It was so loud. It was very it was just like very overwhelming. We started late because the store people, there's also no hate to the store either. Like, things happen, stuff happens. I love this. It's one of my favorite shops to play in the area, but it was just kind of like they usually take very good care of us, and they did take very good care of us because they had this other event going on that they didn't expect to be what it was. There was like when I walked in, like I had already paid and registered online and everything, so I didn't have to go stand in line. But like the line, this is a big store too, and the line was like wrapped around like the entire store, and
Whoa!
it was just like chaos. It was chaos. There was so many people, and everyone was just trying to like figure out how to pay, where to go, if they have to stand in line, if that line was for like us, if that was not for us, like. And then the and we capped too, and it didn't cap like pre-sale, so it was also just kind of like the the store was like trying to figure out like when who was there for flesh and blood, if we were going to cap, who had already paid online, who
Oh
hadn't,
my
and then they were also
goodness.
dealing with this other event, and it was just like ah! And so the vibes for the whole night were just like not what my expectations were. And so my expectations for the like night and event as a whole were let down, and with that I was like, man, I just felt disappointed in Outsiders. But Saturday was very redeeming. Both the pre-releases went a lot smoother. um and like, it was just like much better. It was like what you expect, right? Just like quiet, not a million people who
Mm.
are there for a different game. Just kind of like us. We get to play, we get to hang out, we get to open packs. You hear like, oh, the legendary's open, woohoo! Like there was three legendary open that Friday night, and like I wasn't even like aware of it until I saw it in the Discord later. Like it was like that type of like there was
Mm.
just it just felt so disconnected. Um, and so I was happy that Saturday was a very redeeming day, and I almost didn't even go play in the pre-releases on Saturday. I was like, I don't know if I want to do that again. Um, and then I was like, no, my like there were people in town that were only in town for this. Like they were in town for pre-release. I don't usually get to play with them, so I was like, I should go. I should go see these people. I should go just kind of like have fun, play some more Flesh and Blood. And it was like such a better just day and experience,
Good
and I
on
got
you
to
for
actually
going
like
anyway,
just
Elaine.
appreciate. Yeah. And I was like, whatever. I talked myself into going, and I was like, I'm just gonna go to the morning one, and then I'll come home and have a relaxing night. And then I had so fun at the 1
Mhm.
p.m. one that I ended up playing at the 7 p.m. one too. So it was a very redeeming experience. I'm glad that I still went. I don't know. I feel like I need to draft it and
Oh,
and
yes.
and play it and construct it, and not just get beat to death by Riptide and Constructed, um, before I can give it a real true rating.
I agree. Yes, yes. I was gonna say, any last thoughts?
No, I don't think so.
No, none from me either. But maybe
Which
did you
is
wanna
not a
share?
great last thought.
Yeah, no, we're not any.
For now, yeah, this was just the two of us hanging out, talking Outsiders, talking our weekend. Yeah. Do you want to close this out, Melody?
How
I
am I
open
gonna
this
close
up.
this out? You're not a guest. Thanks for
Just
coming.
say thank you for listening.
Okay. Thank you for coming. We hope you enjoyed listening to Elaine and I just talk smack, shoot the breeze. And we hope you got some little
This is
nuggets.
why we have guests on.
Yeah, because we suck, but it's fine. I don't know if Elaine's going to edit
Alright,
half the
but
stuff
yeah,
out of
this
this.
was fun. We love you guys. We
Yes.
really
Thank you for coming back.
Alright, bye.
Kaki too.